This is a bit of a funny one. While the likes of BMW, Jaguar and Audi are all making big, expensive, pure electric SUVs for their wealthiest customers, it seems the conventional super luxury players are taking things a bit slower. Not wanting to upset its customer base, Rolls-Royce still uses a whopping great V12 in the Cullinan, while the Aston Martin DBX gets a snarling V8, and the same goes for the polarising Lamborghini Urus. But while Bentley isn't exactly racing ahead, it reckons its loyal fanbase is ready for some batteries and electric motors. Enter the Bentayga Hybrid.
Yes, it's a hybrid, but let's not write this thing off just yet. As we've said 100 times before, hybrids like this one are often a really good stepping stone for people looking to switch from petrol to electric. Only recently, a mate of mine traded in his plug-in hybrid BMW 3 Series for a pure electric Tesla. It's often a big leap of faith, but these things work. And let's be honest, if we need to convince anyone, it's those driving big gas-guzzling SUVs. The premise is simple. You get a 17.3 kilowatt-hour battery for short journeys and running around town, and a big V6 petrol engine for all the performance and luxury that you expect from a big Bentley SUV.
Visually, it's almost indistinguishable from the petrol model. You get an extra flap at the back for charging, and there are some hybrid badges on the side. But otherwise, the only telltale sign that this is a Bentayga with a difference comes when you push the starter button, and you're greeted not by the familiar V8, but, well, nothing. Bentley says that 17 kilowatt-hour battery is good for 25 miles of electric running. In reality though, this 2.7-ton SUV won't come close to that, especially if you plan to use its performance potential. However, if you mainly do short trips and can plug in at home, then it doesn't matter, you're still going to dramatically reduce your carbon footprint versus the equivalent V8.
And that's the thing, it doesn't feel that much slower. Combined power output between the electric motor and the petrol engine stands at 443 brake horsepower, so it'll do 0 to 62 miles an hour in a little over 5 seconds, and if you've got enough charge in the batteries, it'll keep going to 84 miles an hour in complete silence. And that's the thing, there is nothing more luxurious than the sound of silence. It's something that Bentley does exceptionally well. When you're pootling around town, you feel completely shut off from the world outside, and even when you raise your speed, the Bentley refuses to raise its voice.
The eagle-eyed among you will notice this is actually the facelifted Bentley Bentayga, which, in addition to some styling tweaks on the outside, also brings a new infotainment system. The graphics are super sharp, even if at times it can be ever so slightly laggy. The digital screen behind the wheel takes the place of the conventional analog dials too. It's certainly not short on tech, this new Bentayga.
There are all the usual driving modes, including a Bentley setting, which sets up the car's parameters exactly as the engineers see fit. And if you didn't know any better, you'd think it was, well, absolutely perfect. But if you flick things through to comfort, well, the Bentayga Hybrid wafts along like little else. And it's only then, when you're driving around really gently, that you can sit back and appreciate everything else about this car, be that the incredible stereo or the exquisite materials dotted around the interior. It's stuff like this that really sums up what it's like to own and drive a Bentley. But you expect a Bentley to stir the soul when you start to drive a little bit quicker, and it's here where the hybrid starts to come undone. It's incredibly agile for a car of this size and weight, and there's very little in the way of body lean. The steering, it's not Porsche Cayenne sharp, but it's good enough. No, it's the engine. Now, we're not advocating big V8s or W12s, but if you want a Bentayga that puts a smile on your face, then this isn't it. The V6 engine is quite quiet, it's not got much personality, it's just a bit characterless. Genuinely, a BMW X5 Hybrid does more to satisfy the driving enthusiast in me. But really, just take it easy, sit back, relax, top up the batteries, and revel in this car's quiet, cricket ball covered interior.
Speaking of topping up the battery, given its relatively modest size compared to a modern electric car or even that X5 that we mentioned, charging from a home wall box is possible in just 2.5 hours. Even a 3-pin plug will do the job in 7 hours, or pretty comfortably overnight. Of course, if you don't charge regularly, then you're lugging around an incredibly heavy battery for no reason. Fuel economy in the 20s is a conservative estimate in that case. Regardless, CO2 emissions of 82 grams per kilometre should make this infinitely more attractive than the V8 or speed models for company car drivers. The hybrid could quite literally halve your annual tax bill.
Of course, everything we said about the driving experience, that V6 engine feeling a bit soulless, it doesn't matter if you spend most of your time back here. That quiet powertrain, that refinement, actually makes this car a really relaxing car to be ferried around in, and that's before we even begin to discuss these seats. Our car has the 4-seat layout, but you can get a conventional 3-seat bench if you so wish. But unless you're carrying 3 people across the back here, this is the specification to go for. It feels so special. It's luxurious and then some. There's the woods, the metals, the leathers, everything in here is just crafted to such a high standard. And these chairs, they're more armchair-like than the armchairs in my living room. They're heated, they're ventilated, they've got a massage function that operates completely electrically. Honestly, it is such a pleasant place to be. So pleasant, in fact, I think I might stay here whilst Carlos goes and films some details.
This being a Bentley, the options list is huge. You can spec your Bentayga pretty much as you please. Prices start from around £150,000 as standard, but this one also has the £28,000 first edition pack, which includes mood lighting, illuminated tread plates, deep pile carpets, and that fantastic name audio system, among other things. You get 21-inch wheels as standard, but our car has 22s, plus adaptive headlights, a panoramic roof, a fully digital dashboard, and leather throughout. Quality, as you'd expect, is flawless.
Despite the fact that the battery and the electrical gubbins all fit underneath the boot floor and underneath the back seats, the boot itself is actually no smaller than the one you'll find in a petrol Bentley Bentayga, although at 479 litres, it is smaller than the one you'll find in a Jaguar I-Pace, and that car costs half the price. The only thing I would say is that you're probably not going to use this car to go to the tip, and certainly Swedish flat pack furniture probably isn't all that popular with Bentley buyers anyway. Regardless though, if you buy a car with this footprint, you want it to carry everything that you can throw at it. Go for this 4-seat option at your peril though, because they don't fold at all, and the boot is 100 litres smaller than the standard car. I could almost hear some of you at the start of this video bemoaning the fact that there is no pure electric Bentley Bentayga, and I empathise. Think about how luxurious a pure electric version of this stonking great SUV would be. But alas, Bentley is taking baby steps. And for some people, this hybrid will be just a ticket. The thing you have to ask yourself though is, if you can afford one of these, then why not go for a Jaguar I-Pace and something for the west wing of the mansion, or a small petrol car for when electric won't suffice? And if hybrid is the answer to your conundrum, then why not look at the BMW X5 xDrive 45e? It's half the price, but it's definitely not half the car.
Head to DrivingElectric.com for all the latest electric and hybrid car advice, news and reviews, and check us out on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Finally, while you're here, make sure you hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel and turn on notifications to ensure you never miss a video.